So this is my new friend Harry. We just met here in Lake Elsinore, and then we started talking about the beautiful year called 2020.
Yep.
And we're just kind of just discussing about what his thoughts about the pandemic, and then he actually shared something wonderful and interesting about his story. So Harry, come on, tell me what's going on with you. What happened with you when you were in high school?
Well, when I was 16 years old, I ended up getting what they call the Hong Kong flu. Which is a virus. And that was in 1968, and I was the only one in my family that got the virus, and my dad was a Marine, and we lived in Carlsbad, and then we turned around and we'd go out to Camp Pendleton and we'd get our supplies and services and so on. So I ended up getting the flu, the Hong Kong flu, and then I was quarantined for about 24 to 45 days. I ended up going back to school 2 or 3 months later, and I'd lost like 45 pounds. And as a high school kid,
Wow.
couldn't afford to lose that kind of weight.
Right,
and my friends didn't even recognize me when I got back to school. And in those days, we didn't have the inhalers and the steroids that we have today.
Right.
So
Tell me, how did the Hong Kong flu, how did it affect your body?
Oh, my toenails on my left foot rotted off because of blood circulation.
Wow.
Because it was all respiratory and oxygenated. Your blood was not oxygenated enough.
Right. So it became sepsis.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So anyways, so that happened, and I had a very hard time breathing, and again, we didn't have the steroids and the inhalers like we have today.
Right.
And I was very, very sick, and my mother would drop off the food at the door, which was crackers and soup. That's all I could keep down. And then I'd have cold compresses to put on my head to help relieve the fever and the headaches. And again, I mean, it was very, very powerful, and it was hard. And then when this virus popped and it came out,
right.
I was at a trade show with my business partner in Florida, and I said, I went online and I looked at the parallels of this virus, and it was.
When you say parallels, like as far as
the level of the parallels of what the virus was then and what this new virus is now.
Okay, as far as how it affects the person.
Yeah, and it was pretty close to the same thing. It was respiratory, circulatory. It was rotting of part of the bodies, the toenails.
Right.
There was a lot of that going on.
Right.
And so we knew by looking at the similarities that it was the same.
Right.
It had the same effects, exactly. And so we got back on the 29th of February, and then all hell broke loose.
Right.
And I knew we were in trouble.
Right. Why do you say that?
Why? Because I could see the similarities, and this is not going to be a good thing.
So back when you got it, when you were in high school, was it Was it, as far as how many people were infected and how bad it was it exactly the same, or very
It,
close
it
to
was it was close to the same, but not as many people got it.
Now, why do you say that? Why do you think not many?
Well,
people
there wasn't that many people together.
Okay.
We lived in Carlsbad. We had an acre of property,
Okay.
and we had more space around us.
Okay.
We're more people today,
Right. Of course, there's more people than there was back then.
and so when you gather with more people, then more people are going to get it.
Right.
Yeah,
So basically, back then social distancing was a lot easier.
well, it was because there wasn't
There
as
was
many
just
people.
somebody to be social with.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, they quarantined me in my room. Doctor's orders. I was quarantined in the room, and no one could walk into my room
Right.
because there was a chance they would get
Get
this.
it right, exactly.
So, I mean, it was horrible, but as a young kid, you have to understand, as a young kid, you don't take things, you take things differently when you're young.
Of course.
Young, you're not so concerned, and as you get older, I'm 68, and man, I don't want this crap.
Yeah.
And so when that, the difference is what I knew then and what I know now.
Right.
Well, it's enough to scare the what out of you.
Exactly.
So I was grateful that I had that information,
Right.
and I knew right away that we have to wear masks and we got to, because it's airborne,
Right.
and so
It's respiratory.
it's all respiratory. It's coming
Right.
out, it's coming out of our mouth.
Right.
So, but that was I was very grateful that I had that information, but I'll tell you, this has been a tough deal.
It's been a tough year.
This has been a tough deal. It's been we just never really took it that serious. And
This
this
year?
is and it is very serious.
It is very, very serious.
This is a killer. This will kill you.
Yeah.
So
Why do you
but-
think most people don't take it seriously? Or maybe not most, but a lot of people don't take this seriously.
I don't want to get too political.
No, we're not getting political. I mean, you
Be-
have
because-
a unique
be-
perspective,
be-
brother.
because you have a leader that doesn't take it serious.
Yeah.
I mean that's
just the bottom line.
that is the bottom line.
Right.
And I gotta tell you, I'm sorry this is gonna be on tape, but I gotta tell you, this man that's in
Yeah.
the Oval Office,
Yeah.
he could have been the most famous president and the best we've ever had,
Right.
had he taken it serious.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't take it serious, and people started dying
Right.
and dying and dying, and now we're over 300,000
Yeah.
people just in the United States.
Right.
I mean, we're probably going to get to 750,000 people by
Before
February.
the general public gets the
By-
vaccine.
Yeah, February, March, April.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could easily top 1 million people in the United States if we're not careful.
Right.
Now they're dying and they're hurting, but they still don't. People still don't take it serious
Yes.
because they need someone to believe in, and they've tied themselves up to this man.
Right.
And it's very sad.
Yeah.
It's
it is.
very, very sad. I've never seen a man that could lie and cheat and steal so badly. And the definition of this man, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I've been clean and sober for 34 years.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And
It's a daily struggle.
it's actually pretty simple, really.
Okay.
It's just it's a one day at a time
Right.
process. I don't have a craving for alcohol today.
Good.
I mean, it's just not. I mean, I have water.
Right.
But it's the definition of an alcoholic is a liar, cheater, and a thief. And the only reason why this man doesn't drink is because his brother died of alcoholism, and it runs in his family.
Right.
So he's scared to death
Right.
what he'd be. But he's no different than someone that drinks, because that's what he's a liar, cheat, and a thief, and it's all about him.
Right.
It isn't about anybody. It's about what can he get out of it for
Right.
himself. He's selfish and self-centered, and
Right.
that's what we got.
So, I mean,
You know.
I mean, as much as this year has been so terrible, I myself like to think of myself as an optimist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have 2021 coming up. You know, what do you think? You know, with the vaccine finally being approved and starting to be distributed, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I know I'm going to take it,
Yeah.
and I know I'm going to be wearing my mask even after I take it, because we're not out of this thing.
Not for a while.
We're probably 24 months before we have some sort of normalcy, which is not going to be like it used to be.
Right.
We're going to be cautious, very careful,
Right.
and but there'll be more coming. There's going to be more. There's always been. You remember the SARS. Remember the swine flu.
Right.
The Spanish flu.
Chicken flu.
The
yeah.
chicken flu.
Bird flu. I mean.
Yeah, the bird flu.
Yeah,
all these. We really didn't. I remember going to Mexico, and I was going to Zihuatanejo with a group of friends, and my wife at the time, she says, "No, you can't go because they're having the swine flu epidemic."
Right.
It wasn't a pandemic; it was an epidemic.
Right.
And we went, and we knew there was going to be good-sized waves, and we were all going to go. And she complained, and she finally said, "No, if you want to go, you'll go to Hawaii, and here's all the free miles for all your friends. You're going to go to Hawaii."
Oh, that's cool.
And it was flat, and so we had a vacation of looking at everything on the islands. It was like maybe a foot. It was terrible. Every day we looked at our phones, and Mexico was 6 to 8 foot swell.
Wow.
And we had nothing in Hawaii. And but we had this swine flu going around, and we didn't take it serious. You know, and you wonder, when do you take something serious?
Yeah.
Well, I think the only time you really take something serious is if you've had prior knowledge, or it's really, really affecting someone in your family really close.
Right.
And then you go, oh, this is real.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
even though I had the Hong Kong flu, you know, I still wanted to go to Mexico, but we ended up in Hawaii.
Right.
And I think I think being sick, you have to have someone close to you that's very sick or close to dying, and then you go, okay, that's you know, then you get it.
Then you get it. Absolutely.